they don't understand the game that they're getting into. So I guess that's where the issue came to be. But how do you think the crypto world is reacting to the current economic situation globally?
I think it's one of the driving factors into why people buy Bitcoin. I mean, globally speaking, macro level, people say that there's too much monetary stimulus, things like that. But I mean, that's if you're assuming that investors are rational. So they're saying that Bitcoin can be a hedge against inflation and stuff. But obviously, there's a lot of speculation that goes on as well. You know, people just chasing the moon. So yeah, that's why I think people need to be people need to be responsible about it. I think there's ways to do that.
Then again, it's always a competition between responsibility and greed, isn't it? People, the moment they see, generally people will be like, all right, I have a 10% mark, I hit the 10% mark, I'm out. But the moment they hit the 10% mark and they still see it growing, okay, maybe I'll wait for about 15%, 20%.
Yeah.
Hit the 20% mark, you're like, I think the growth is going on. So it just keeps going on and on and on.
Yeah.
So I guess that is where all these robo investing comes into play and perhaps benefits people, because robots have no emotions.
Yep.
I set it at 10%, I set it at 10, and that's that. If I want to buy it, I buy it at that 10% mark and go on.
Yeah. Automated investing, I think, is a good idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do have some fund managers. They employ it globally. They haven't quite employed it here. I think they're still in the midst of discussing it, but I don't think they've gotten a complete green light. I think to pass the vetting stages of Bank Negara is not the easiest. I mean, LUNO was already established globally, and then when it came in, how was your participation in it, as in to become the country partner, right?
Yeah, so I was the first employee here in Malaysia, so heavily involved in like getting approvals and things like that. But I mean, globally, we've been a global company since 2016, I think, 2014. So yeah, I mean, in Malaysia, I'm early, but in the broader overall landscape of the company, I'm not that early lah. So I've just I guess extended the efforts that already existed.
Is there any heavy how shall I say monitoring that is being done by Bank Negara? Are they allowing a complete activity which is allowed globally, or is there some sort of restriction that you have?
So the restrictions we have are more by the SC than BNM, Securities Commission.
Fair enough.
And yeah, we are tightly regulated versus even regionally. If you look in what's happening in Thailand, Philippines, Malaysia is very, very strict. We only allow very little. So hopefully the rules will be relaxed and more innovation can happen.
Well, they are trying, I guess, but it's just that they need to. Besides taking a leap of faith, I don't believe in taking a leap of faith. That is a sure. That is a higher probability to fall flat on your face. I would suggest take calculated risks, and looking at the track records that are happening globally, I think they should look into it and implement it here. They have all resources and human capital. I think it's just a matter of time.
Yeah. And if it's too restrictive, then Malaysia gets left behind. So we don't want that either.
Exactly. I mean, looking at the way, looking at ASEAN itself, right? I used to be, I still am, one of the founding members of the Malaysian ASEAN Association of Young Entrepreneurs, and we were in the 90s, mid-90s, even up to some part of the late 90s, we were actually the leaders of the ASEAN countries, in the sense that our performance, the way we were growing. Our growth rate was brilliant, but somewhere along the line, we started falling back. And we are currently somewhere the ninth or the 10th place in terms of growth in ASEAN. And also when it comes to startups, because of the framework we have in place, we are not exactly startup friendly. So let's hope. There are changes coming about. I see that even the framework by Bank Negara Securities Commissions is bucking up their online presence. So let's just hope that it's a good thing for the finance sector, mate.
Let's hope so. Fingers crossed.
All right, gentlemen, we will start the event now. That was a very insightful talk, actually. I was like so deep, so invested in listening to it, but we have to start the event now. All right, so I would like to say welcome, selamat datang to everyone who to today's event. Hold up, let's talk crypto. So without further ado, I would like to, okay, so first I would like to ask for the participants to just sit back and relax. The e-certificate link and QR code will be provided at the end of the event. So yeah, just wait. And yeah, first and foremost, I would like to invite Ashwin, which is our club advisor, for an opening speech. Ashwin, the mic is yours.
Right. Actually, I think we spoke most of it during the discussion. But first and foremost, I would like to formally welcome Aaron from LUNO, the managing partner of LUNO in Malaysia. And thank you, Aizul, for actually setting up this whole event with your team. I'm sure each and every one of you had played your adequate parts to ensure that this happens the way it is today. Now, looking at the investment scene in Malaysia or even globally, you're having a lot of the young working force, the youth participating in it. And when you talk about youth participation, you can't have technological advancement, or you can't have the availability of cyberspace and connecting it to the investment sector kept away. It has to be a part of it. It is synonymous almost. So looking at the way things are happening and looking at how the global presence of such big brands like LUNO is coming into Malaysia, we see that the demand and the supply is coming to a point where it's going to meet. So it is good to see that IUMW is making such efforts to bring in people who can actually explain, who are the subject experts, right? To explain further about this, to give people an insight instead of going online and reading something and understanding things based on their ability. You see, we understand messages in a different manner based on what we read. But when you have the subject matter expert present, you always have the availability of them to ask questions. And I think that is brilliantly done by your IUMW. Well done. And without further ado, I pass the chat space. I can't tell the floor, but the chat space over to the president for to invite our guest speaker to then take the chat space.
All right. Okay, thank you so much, Ashwin. Oh yeah, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Aizul. I am the president of Finance Club. And yeah, all right, so let's kickstart the event. I would like to invite Aaron Tang, the country manager for LUNO Malaysia, to the floor. Hi, Aaron. Can you give us a little bit of info, like maybe like an icebreaker for cryptocurrency, like what cryptocurrency is?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. So cryptocurrency is tends to be a bit of an intimidating word. Intimidating word. One easy way to think about it is digital assets. So we're talking about assets which have value. They are worth money. They're worth something, but they're completely digital. They live on the internet 100%. So that's one easy way to think about cryptocurrencies. And then, of course, the most famous example of that would be Bitcoin, which is your most popular cryptocurrency.
All right, thank you, Aaron. We will move on to the Q&A sessions. We have a lot of questions to ask you so that our participants have a clear idea on today's event. Okay, so the first one. Okay, so how did you start to learn to trade or invest in crypto?
So I started back in 2016. This was back then when I think many people were still saying, Bitcoin is scam, bubble, whatever, etc. But people were still bashing it. I learned mostly from reading online blogs. Back then, even YouTube videos about crypto weren't very popular yet. It was mostly written material. Read a couple of material. Actually, I read for very long before I actually started venting. When I first started, it was a very small amount, something I'm just willing to experiment with. And then started with, like most people, a crypto exchange, sign up for a crypto exchange, buy through the crypto exchange, and then saw it in my wallet. And then that's kind of where the rabbit hole started, right? Because after you have your first taste, that's when you learn more, you experience more. And then you move on to investing in other cryptocurrencies. So I started with Bitcoin, but moved on to stuff like Ethereum as well. And yeah, I would say that's a do-it-yourself kind of approach. But nowadays, thankfully, if you're interested and you're new, you have much more material available for you to learn from, whether that's YouTube videos or Twitter threads, or I don't know. I'm not convinced about TikTok yet, but you can find a lot of material to learn whichever medium you're interested in.
Well, yeah, I learned mostly. Okay, to trade crypto, I learned it mostly from TikTok. Actually, my friends keep sending me all of this crypto TikTok. So I'm like, this is actually a good time for me to start investing because the value is kind of increasing, right? Okay, so moving on to the next question. Okay, this is kind of like a common stereotype. Like people say that crypto is much more volatile than stock rates. Is it true? And if yes, why is that so?
If we're looking at broad stock markets, when I say broad stock markets, if you look at the stock market index, which represents the whole stock market, for example, in Malaysia, you have the KLSE index, right? It tracks the movement or the activity on the KL stock market. And then in the US, of course, you have the very famous S&P 500, which is the index that tracks the 500 largest companies. So if you're comparing crypto, Bitcoin versus something like that, then yes, 100% that Bitcoin crypto is more volatile than stock market. But if you go down to the level of comparing Bitcoin to individual stocks, then of course you are going to get a very big level of variance, right? If you compare Bitcoin to something like Maybank, which is a very stable stock, a very established stock, then of course Bitcoin is going to be more volatile. But if you compare Bitcoin to, say, what people call as a penny stock, which is a stock that trades in the cents, then maybe you may find that Bitcoin is less volatile. But with that being said, Bitcoin is still considered a high volatile, high risk kind of investment. So that's why I always suggest, if you're interested to get started, start small, start with something that you're willing to experiment with. To your second question, is crypto much more volatile, and why is that so? We have to understand that crypto is a very, very new industry. It's a very new asset. Bitcoin has been around for only 12 years, since 2009. So when you compare it to something like, say, the traditional stock market, which has been around for hundreds of years, then there's been so much more infrastructure, there's so many more companies, there's so much more money and capital that already exists in the traditional stock market. So because of that, it's going to be less volatile than something that's very new and very, very, you can almost say, it's still in the hype cycle, right? People are getting hyped up about it. And there's not that much activity, there's not that much money in the space. That's why crypto is much more volatile.
So in the sense of an industry life cycle, is still in its infancy, right? maybe like in the early stages still.
Yeah, 100%. And if you look at any groundbreaking technology, go back hundreds of years, look at electricity, look at railroads, you will see that at the start of these technologies, people were also like super hyped up about it. Some people will call it bubbles, etc. Right? It's no different to the internet in the 2000s, or in the internet in the early 2000s. Some of you will probably have read about the dot-com bubble when internet stocks were like hugely overrated, hugely overvalued. But then again, if you had bought into, say, something like Amazon or even Microsoft at the peak of the dot-com bubble, you would still be doing like insanely well today. So just because something is new, something is volatile, that doesn't mean that, it's inherently bad or good. But rather, that's why I always say that people need to understand the risks involved and then do it in a responsible manner.
Yeah, so it's more to like, you dare to try it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And, new technologies can do really well. They can go up and down. But I would hope that people invest with belief, and it's not like a get rich quick scheme or anything, right? You're investing hard-earned money, and hopefully your investment is fruitful at the end.
All right. Okay. So moving on to the next question. Since you mentioned the risk in crypto, right? So what are the risks and what are the benefits in investing or trading in crypto? And yeah, does it function almost the same as stocks?
I think you can look at risks in many, many different ways. The first risk is, of course, you make losses on your capital. So, for example, if you buy some coin for, let's say, 100 ringgit, right? And then the coin, for whatever reason, crashes. It loses, say, 30% of its value over the next 1 month. Now, your 100 ringgit is now worth 70 ringgit, right? So, of course, there's a risk in the asset itself in going up or down. But that risk is pretty much the same across any investment asset. Whether you buy stocks, whether you buy gold, prices can go up or down. Yeah. I think where the risk is accelerated in crypto is something that we've mentioned earlier. Crypto is usually seen as more volatile than the other asset classes. So again, for example, if you buy Maybank, you don't expect Maybank stock to drop by 50% tomorrow, unless something really bad happens, like Maybank got hacked or something like that. So you don't probably not going to see that if you buy a company like, say, Apple or Microsoft. You don't think it's going to crash 50%. And crypto being so new, it may go through those kind of up and down cycles. But of course, in addition to that, in addition to the volatility, because something is so new like crypto, you also have what you call, I guess, the industry may or may not be tightly regulated. And when you buy something established like a robo-advisor or you buy a stock, that industry is like quite tightly managed and quite tightly regulated by the regulators. So it means that you can trade with a bit more confidence that you're not trading with like some fraudsters or some people trading on the black market. But in crypto is a bit of a wild west situation right now, still, admittedly. Now in Malaysia, we are a bit better because we have regulated exchanges. For example, the company that I work for and represent, these companies have to go through a long list of scrutiny by the regulators to make sure that they are safe platforms to trade. But be honest with you, there are people who still decide that, I don't want to trade at a regulated platform. I want to go to an overseas platform that's based in, some foreign country, right? And again, this, in my view, at least, it increased the risk, But again, this is a buyer's beware kind of situation. If you're happy to accept that risk, then a lot of people do their trading overseas on offshore exchanges as well. So I think these are some of the risks. And the last one I want to mention is, of course, with any brand new technology, there are going to be there's a bit of a steep learning curve, because crypto is kind of like the intersection between computer science, cryptography, and finance. So it has many, many disciplines. And if you're not very familiar with all these disciplines, crypto can seem like very, very foreign, very, very intimidating, and people can often make mistakes. So I think that's another risk as well. For example, if you don't store your passwords properly, you don't do something that's called two-factor authentication, then, for example, you might actually accidentally give your login details to like an attacker or a scammer, and then they might drain your account. So I think those are the risks. Before I jump into the benefits, do you have any questions about the risks?
Well, I don't think I have any. Yeah, you can move forward with the benefits.
Okay, cool. So benefits in crypto, I think there are many. Number one is, of course, in terms of learning, it's quite rare, I would say, that people have the chance to learn so in depth about a new technology that's growing. Many times, for example, you may read about a very cool biotechnology concept, but if for whatever reason you had no, you weren't linked to any PhDs or professors, you might not actually have the chance to participate in something like that. But crypto, by its nature, it is open. It lives on the internet, meaning anyone who actually wants to learn and try and even look at the computer codes behind Bitcoin, literally anyone can do it because it's freely available. So I guess the number one benefit really is if you're looking for like a very interesting, I would almost dare to say exciting career in the world of like finance technology, crypto may be one of the gateways to that, right? You may start by investing your first bit, and then who knows, you might be able to even make a very, very fruitful career out of it. The second thing is, of course, the potential for gains. I think everyone here has probably heard of their friend or their cousin or their cousin's friend who invested 500 ringgit into a dog-related coin and then turned it into like 5,000 ringgit, right? So, people are investing in crypto because they view it as a way to earn a lot of money. And while I say that is possible, I again want to caution that do invest responsibly because, we don't want people to get scammed or think it's a get-rich-quick scheme. So that's number two benefit. People are investing because they want to get more gains. Of course, they want to have better lives. The number three benefit, I would say, is if we go more into the traditional investment portfolios kind of material, you guys would probably know that it's generally good advice to not invest in just one thing, right? When you invest, you generally want to spread your investments across a broad variety of investments. So you're not investing 100% in just Maybank stock, or you're not investing 100% in just your father's friend's company. Similarly, you're not 100% investing everything into Dogecoin, right? You typically want to have a portfolio, maybe 50% in stocks, 40% in bonds, 5% in gold. And then increasingly, we are seeing financial advisors suggesting that, to increase performance, maybe you want to keep 1 to 5% of your portfolio in Bitcoin or crypto. So the third benefit of investing in crypto is really as a diversification tool, not to put all in like a gambler, right? But to invest a portion of your portfolio in crypto to hopefully get better returns for your overall investments.
Okay, so yeah, talking about gains. So in like from my personal experience, I initially invested around 200 ringgit in Ethereum, and as of today, my current wallet sits at 767 ringgit as I just checked just now. So yeah, the gains are a lot. So that's one of the benefits to it.
Congratulations.
Okay. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure a lot of other people that invested with a higher amount of capital. So yeah. Okay, so moving on to the next question. All right, so are there any legal restrictions to trading or investing in crypto in Malaysia? And who is the governing body of crypto transactions in Malaysia?
If you want to go down the legal regulated way to trade and invest crypto in Malaysia, there are today 4 regulated investment platforms in crypto. The formal name for it is actually Digital Asset Exchange. So that's DAX. And these are the regulated platforms. And when I say regulated platforms, it literally means that these guys have to be very, very responsible. They have to be almost like audited by the government authorities to make sure that they are not doing any like manipulation or cheating their customers, and that their security is tight, right? So those are the four bodies, or rather those are the four companies. We are one of them. In terms of the governing body of crypto transactions, there are actually two. The first one is Securities Commission, or otherwise known as the SC. The SC is the governing body that looks over all investment-related or fundraising activity in Malaysia. So when we say investment-related, that means things like the stock market, bonds, unit trusts, even things like peer-to-peer lending, crowdfunding, or even robo-advisors. These are all governed or regulated by the Securities Commission. And the whole purpose of existence is to make sure that there's no cheating, or rather that investors are always protected. So investor protection is basically their number one thing. Now, the second thing is BNM also, Bank Negara, has also oversight over what happens in the crypto industry. And when I say oversight, meaning they are looking out for specific things, like if people are using crypto for bad purposes, like they are buying, they're trying to send money to terrorists, or they are, involved in like scams or frauds, then Bank Negara will also get involved in this kind of matters. But on a day-to-day basis, you'll see that Securities Commission is the governing body lah.
Okay. Follow-up question to that. Like when you said about like preventing to doing funny business, like so from your point of view, is mining a funny business in crypto?
Mining is not a funny business in crypto, as long as you're mining with proper equipment and you're not stealing electric. So when you see in the newspapers that miners are getting in the news, is because those guys are illegally stealing electric to do mining. If you wanted to do mining properly on a purely no hanky-panky kind of thing, that's absolutely fine. You can absolutely mine Bitcoin, crypto, whatever.
All right, thank you for that disclosure. All right, the next question is, from your point of view, what is the future of crypto? And what are the odds of it crashing again, just like it did in May?
Yeah, when you talk about future, I'm going to take this question not just from the price perspective, right? I'm going to take it from the, I guess, broader perspective. We've always believed that cryptocurrency is the next evolution of the financial services or the finance world, or even money-related stuff. And why I say that is because if you look at historically, money over the years has actually evolved. We may think money is just the paper notes, or even our touch and go e-wallet. We may think that is money, right? But if you look at history, money has constantly evolved from like those days people were using barter, and then people were using silver coins issued by the Roman emperors, and then after that it moved to paper money issued by the government of China, and then people used gold standard related money. So actually money itself has continued to evolve over the years, and we think that cryptocurrency is just the next natural step lah. Now, in terms of what that might mean practically to someone young like yourselves, I personally am very bullish on the crypto industry, the amount of innovation that's happening in the crypto industry. So for example, maybe today you only know one or two of your friends who actually work in crypto related industries. But in 5 years, for example, you might actually see that 10% of your classmates actually manage to get a job in cryptocurrency related industry. Or even the traditional finance industry, and we're talking like traditional banks or even the traditional stock brokers, they might actually have a portion of their business which is related to cryptocurrency already. And we're starting to see more and more of that happening. So if you're pretty interested in crypto, I would say that the future is there's lots and lots of good jobs going to be available and very interesting jobs as well. Now, in terms of the odds of it crashing, just like what it did in May, I'm not so much a short-term kind of person who can read the trends and read the charts. Those are what you typically call like a technical analysis kind of person, right? I will say that nobody can accurately forecast the market. So I can't give you like odds like 50% chance or 60%. I can't give you myself. But I will say if you're interested to invest into crypto, and I will say invest, not trade into crypto, I say invest. I would say that if you give it a long time frame, like say 3 to 5 years, and you bought something quite established like Bitcoin, I'm quite confident that you will do well, as historically it has also proven to do well over periods of 3 to 5 years.
All right, so okay, moving on to the next question. All right, so to the participants, if you guys have any questions, you can just put it in the chat box, and we will read it out later. All right, so the next question is, what are the best platforms for beginners to start trading in crypto, and what is the best crypto to invest in? Is it Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Ripple?
Yeah, so I'm going to be biased here because I obviously work for LUNO, but I will say that I do wholeheartedly believe for beginners that that's the best platform to start learning, investing, trading in crypto. So that's LUNO, luno.com. If you've not visited our website before, that's LUNO, the app as well. And why I say this is because what you'll find in a lot of other crypto trading platforms or crypto investment platforms is you will often find that it's can be very overwhelming for someone new, right? And when I talk about someone new, I'm talking about someone who's new to investing. So this is not the guy who is already like doing 100 trades a week on Rakuten Trade or on eToro, right? I'm talking about someone who's new to this world of investing. And you will see that LUNO has a very simple, basic, straightforward interface, and there's a lot of opportunities for learning and reading and watching videos as well. In terms of the best crypto, I won't say that this is the best crypto because, different people have different investing beliefs. But I will say that if you want to get started, start with Bitcoin first because it is the oldest and most established crypto. And by understanding Bitcoin, then it gives you a very good foundation to learn about the other, cryptocurrencies. So if you straight away jump into something like, say, Dogecoin or Shiba Inu, to me, the analogy I'm going to give you is like, that's you straight away diving into like the most, like trying to surf the biggest wave in the world, right? If you jump straight into something like Shiba Inu, it's you trying to surf the 30-foot wave, right? When actually what you should be trying to do is taking your first few steps into a very, very calm sea and, trying to practice your basic swimming first. So that's how I would view why you should start with Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm. Well, from my personal view, I started with Ethereum because, first and foremost, Bitcoin at that time was kind of expensive for me to start. I started in February. It was priced at 200,000 ringgit. So I was like, okay, that's kind of expensive for me to start. So I started with Ethereum and I bought 0.05 of Ethereum on LUNO. So yeah, I bought it when it was 5,900 and it grew to a peak of 18,000 ringgit within 2 months. So yeah, that's quite a drastic increase for me. So I was kind of shocked too. And yeah, a follow-up question to this one. What are your thoughts on Binance being banned by SC just recently?
Yeah, this is the controversial one in the investor space, right? I will say that the SC actually gave Binance a lot of slack already. As I understand it, the SC themselves probably reached out to Binance, send them like some letters and asking them like, if you want to operate in Malaysia and if you want to specifically target Malaysian customers, then you probably need to get a regulated kind of status in Malaysia before you go all out, right? And I think the SC actually put Binance on their watch list for already 1 year before they came out with their announcement 3 weeks ago. So in other words, they've actually given the Malaysian public and also Binance like plenty of time that this was coming. And for whatever reason, I don't know, you have to ask Binance, right? I don't know why they either ignored us or don't care. I guess they decided not to do anything about it. So the SC had to take the further action. And if you know, sometimes people ask me like, you know, why is it specifically Binance? Why didn't they target other platforms? And from my perspective, at least, I can see that Binance has been very actively targeting Malaysian investors, right? They have specific Malaysia-related programs. They hire people in Malaysia, etc. And if you look at, say, an overseas platform like, say, Kraken or, I don't know, Coinbase, why doesn't the SC like go after them, right? And to me, the only reason that makes sense is because those guys don't actually come and, you know, literally pay for ads to get Malaysians to sign up for their platforms and stuff. I mean, if Malaysians themselves decide to go, then basically it's a free market, right? There's nothing you can do about it. So I guess what I'm trying to say in a very long way is Binance didn't like basically ignored what the SC was trying to do, and then that's the consequence of them not taking action.
Well, okay, so that cleared up a little bit of air. All right. Moving on to the next question. Okay, what are the indicators that crypto traders or investors should be constantly aware of? Like for me, previously I would just keep an eye out every time Elon Musk decided to tweet something about Bitcoin, because that will affect all of the cryptocurrencies in the market. So yeah, what are the indicators in your point of view?
So I will say that in the world of cryptocurrency investing, it's not so established yet like traditional finance. Like many of you probably have read about financial ratios like PE ratios or dividend yield or discounted cash flow. You have all these valuation methodologies to measure whether a stock or a bond is overvalued, undervalued, whatever, right? Now, I will say that in the crypto world, these are not so established yet. Yes, there are theories of how people use to evaluate whether the price is overvalued or undervalued. And I will say that these methodologies are sort of being tested right now, right? It is the market is seeing whether it's true or not, these guys' theories or not. But some of the indicators that I can suggest for people to look into before deciding to invest in crypto, these are things like number of active users and active addresses worldwide. So for example, it's very easy to see that Bitcoin has easily more than 100 million active addresses worldwide because this is publicly available. So if somebody comes and tells me that, oh, Bitcoin has no use, you know, nobody cares about it, then you can tell that that's 100% false, because I can see clearly that 100 million people around the world value Bitcoin because they're using it, right? So you can look at active users, active addresses. You can also look at technical activity. So because cryptocurrencies are mostly open source computer code, so you can literally go to the GitHub of all these projects. So Bitcoin has a GitHub. You can see all the developer activity happening there. You can see how many developers are actively making code changes, cleaning up bugs, etc. So that could be something else you look for. I would say social media, like what you've mentioned, like Elon Musk tweeting, that more represents the sentiment of what people are saying. And of course, you know that sentiment drives price as well, right? It does drive price. But I would say that tread with caution. Just because everyone is tweeting about something, that may mean that there's some sort of like, you know, people are trying to pump it for whatever reason. I don't think that should be your only metric or only measurement of whether a coin is useful or not. Apart from some of these, I think you can lean a bit on expertise of, I guess, trusted individuals, people that you follow, you trust, and their views on technology like Bitcoin, crypto. I know that crypto has a lot of detractors from the traditional finance world, but you will also start to see that there are people who run investment firms, people who are CFAs, people who are, professors, people who run hedge funds. You will see that some of them are starting to come up with their material, their theories on why cryptocurrency is a useful investment. So that's another indicator that you might want to lean on. I won't go into technical indicators like the what do you call that, the technical analysis kind of things, because I'm not a technical trader myself. But if you are a technical trader, you can look at this technical analysis as well. I've been told that crypto and TA works in the crypto world as well. So for those technical traders, you can consider that.
All right. The next question is, how do you trade or invest in crypto? Like, do you have a goal to gain a certain amount, or do you just randomly buy and sell? Like, meaning like, oh, do you have, okay, I want to start up with 200 ringgit and I want to make it grow until 300 and then I will sell it. Do you have something like that? Or just like buy low and sell high?
So I've been in crypto for more than 5 years now. I've tried various strategies, right? I've tried to buy and hold. I've tried to like invest in like ICOs. I've tried to invest in like speculative tokens. I would say that all over this past couple of years, I would say that if I had actually just done what you call dollar cost average, when I say dollar cost average means I just invest a fixed amount every month into just the very, very established coins like Bitcoin and Ethereum, I would most likely have done much, much better than all the random stuff that I did. So the random stuff I did is like buy the hot coin of the year, try to predict this and that. So yeah, as I've learned this, I think moving forward, I'm moving towards more of a dollar cost averaging strategy. So just investing like fixed amounts. And again, when I say fixed amounts, I don't mean all my investments. I am quite positively and heavily invested in traditional assets as well. So, like the traditional retirement funds or traditional robo-advisors, I do invest in those kind of things as well. So yeah, just the small portion of my portfolio that I buy crypto, I'm intending to buy dollar cost average into Bitcoin mostly.
Well, yeah, the dollar cost average is kind of a very safe strategy, if I can say that, because you have a set of price, right, that you want to gain, so you have no worries if it crashes or not, right?
Yep, exactly. And you mentioned about the goal. I didn't really have like a huge goal. I mean, I have a goal for my overall investment portfolio, not my crypto portfolio. So I'm just like basically investing for, I guess you can call it financial independence one day. Yeah. And when I reach that figure, then maybe I'll sell some of my assets. And this is not just crypto assets, right? I'm not like waiting to Bitcoin reach 100,000 and then I'll sell everything. I will reach a certain level and then I will move to some safer assets. So that's my strategy. It's a very slow invest for retirement kind of strategy, if you must.
Mm-hmm. So it's like a diversification. You don't want to put your eggs into one basket.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So the next question. Okay. So I think this one is a rather important question. Okay, so if I gain profit or income from crypto trading or investments, do I need to pay tax for it? Are there any fees that I need to be aware of in crypto trading? Because, in traditional stocks, right, there's a tax called capital gain tax, right? So what about crypto? Do we have it?
So I'm going to take this question in a few parts. So the first part is, are there any fees I need to be aware of in crypto trading? Mm-hmm. So yes, whenever you do any crypto trading, investment trading, excuse me, and this is the same for stock market or other investing platforms, the investment platform will take a small percentage fee, right? That is, I don't know, maybe it could be like a 0.5% fee for doing the trading. So that's the fee you have to be aware of. To your second question about capital gains tax, just to be clear, there's no capital gains tax in Malaysia today. Yeah. So if you bought a stock and then it went up by, you were super lucky, it went up by 500%, and then you made all that money and you sold it next year, you don't have to pay any capital gains tax on it. Yeah. That is capital gains. Now, where people get confused is the difference between capital gains and income. Yeah. So I'm going to try to draw the difference here. Capital gains is usually when you buy something to invest and you hold it for long term. Now, when I say long term, this usually means for more than 1 year and above, right? That's what you would typically consider a capital gain. So usually if you buy an investment, you hold for years, you sell it, no tax at all. That applies to everything, whether it's stocks, whether it's crypto, whether it's gold, anything at all. The only exception right now in Malaysia is if you were to sell a house, right? If you were to sell a house, then within 5 years, you have to pay some sort of tax on it, on the profits. Now, when we talk about income, if you are actively trading crypto on a daily basis until it has become your sort of regular income kind of thing, that kind of income by right is taxable. Yeah. And that actually applies not only to crypto, it applies to any kind of trading, or even if you're doing like online tuition or online business, if you are getting that regular income, by right, you should be declaring taxes on that.
Oh, so it applies under the income tax law.
Yep. Because that is considered income. It's not capital gains.
All right, so that's clear on that. Okay, so final one. Do you have any advice to students who aspire to be crypto traders or investors?
Yeah, I would say the best advice I have is you do need to educate yourself, and the best way to educate yourself is to actually do all the reading, watching those videos, and to actually start with a small amount of capital. And why I say start with a small amount of capital is because then you limit your risk. So maybe you go in with, I don't know, 100 ringgit or 50 ringgit, and you do something really stupid like a newbie mistake, right? All of us have made those kind of newbie mistakes before. And even if you lose all your 50 ringgit, you lose all your 100 ringgit, that's not going to be the end of the world for you, right? Because you have limited your risk. So I would say that, go out, give it a try, and you can limit your risk by limiting the amount that you start with, and yeah, go from there. After you've comfortable with your 100 ringgit, maybe you want to invest a little bit more, maybe that goes into 1,000 ringgit. Yeah, take the next step, but keep learning, keep improving.
All right, so thank you on that. Okay, before we move on with the event, okay, so I would like to give you the floor to give you a chance on promoting the app, the company that you're in, LUNO. All right, so do you want to give a little bit of introduction?
Thanks. Yeah. So this is a really weird looking picture of me, but I guess you took it from the papers, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, this is how the LUNO app looks like. We are a regulated investment platform by the Securities Commission. We are the first one to be regulated in Malaysia since October 2019. So that's almost 2 years now. We also have the largest market share in Malaysia with more than 90% of the regulated market share. So I would say that we are market leaders in that sense. And if you look at the screenshot on the rightmost, that is actually our learning portal. So even if you're not so comfortable to start with your investments today, you can actually just sign up for the app and just access the learning portal. All the material there is free. You can learn about crypto, watch videos. And if you're ready to take your next step, it's only a minimum investment amount of 1 ringgit. Yeah, no typo, 1 ringgit. You can actually start getting involved in like Bitcoin and crypto. So yeah, for the less than a cup of coffee, less than Starbucks, you can actually get your first taste of Bitcoin.
All right. Okay, so I think I am going to open the floor for any questions. And currently I have a few questions in my hand from the participants who were participating in the event. Okay, the first question is if cryptocurrency is profitable, why legendary investor Warren Buffett is against crypto?
Right. I would say that every investor has their own philosophy about investing. If we are specifically talking about Warren Buffett, by the way, absolutely love Warren Buffett as an investor. I read about his materials. I think he's super wise. But I will also say that Warren Buffett, and Warren Buffett himself will admit to you, Warren Buffett is not a great technology investor. Yeah, he's great at investing in things like Coca-Cola. He's great at investing in things like banks, insurance companies. But Warren Buffett has never been a great technology investor. And if you want to look at examples of great technology investors, there are a whole bunch of technology investors out there. So I'm definitely not in any position to comment about Warren Buffett's like track record or anything. But what I will say is that I don't believe that one investor has the answers to everything, right? A great investor can be right 80% of the time. Maybe Warren Buffett he has been wrong in the 20% of the time about companies like Tesla and crypto and Bitcoin. Yeah, maybe that's why. So yeah, I would encourage that, just because one guy says it's not good, don't just take that wholeheartedly for yourself. You can also read the perspective of like 5 or 10 other legendary investors.
Yep, that's true. That's very true. Okay, so the other another question is, what is cryptocurrency mining?
Cryptocurrency mining, the simplest, easiest way I can explain cryptocurrency mining is when you actually take your computer. So your computer has processor, it has memory, it has some processing power, right? Cryptocurrency mining is you taking your computer and then you renting out your computer power to help the cryptocurrency network work. So I'll give you a simple example. There's something known as a Bitcoin mining machine. A Bitcoin mining machine is really a very, very powerful computer. And around the world, there are probably hundreds and thousands of these cryptocurrency mining machines all across the world. And what these machines are really doing is they are helping Bitcoin process transactions. So when I send Bitcoin to you and you send Bitcoin to me, these machines all over the world, these are the ones that are processing the transactions. Yeah.
Oh,
So when you mine cryptocurrency, you are allowing your computer to become one of those machines. You are sort of renting your power to process transactions, and then you get paid for it. Now, I will caution that probably hobby cryptocurrency mining is no longer profitable. Like if you take your laptop today, even if it's like the most powerful laptop in the world and you try to mine cryptocurrency with it, you won't probably get profitable. The electricity bill will probably be more than your cryptocurrency that you earn.
oh, okay. So the machine basically acts as a server for crypto transactions, is it?
Yep. You could consider that as a server. Yes, that's one way of putting it.
Okay. So this machine, can I get it on Shopee?
You could probably get secondhand machines on Shopee, but
Oh, okay. Oh,
secondhand machines probably are outdated, so you're probably not gonna earn good money on them as well. And usually, miners, if they're buying machines, they're buying it straight from the mining suppliers. Very, very specialized computers.
because I've heard that just these machines, they cost like tens of thousands of dollars.
Yep,
It's
correct.
very expensive.
Yep.
And
Correct.
I have a friend who mines crypto, but it's a she. She's using her gaming laptop, and her electricity bill went up from 150 to 500, 600 per month just from mining. but her gains are like 1,005, 1,008 per month. But yeah,
Right.
it does have a toll on the electricity bill.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the next question is, okay, so this is more of a opinionated questions. Do you think the price of Bitcoin will rise above $50,000 by the end of the year?
Yeah, super hard one to answer, really. I don't know. Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't know. I am very hopeful, but I don't know. It's anyone who tells you they can predict is lying, because you can't. So yeah, I will just keep dollar cost averaging into it, and if not this year, maybe over the next 3 years or 5 years, I think you'll do well.
Okay, so next question is, how does cryptocurrency differs from Forex in terms of trading?
So it differs in the sense that cryptocurrency is fundamentally different technology from Forex. So cryptocurrency is basically digital assets. People are sending digital assets to each other. And then when you buy cryptocurrency, you are basically hoping that the price will go up over time. So it trades a little bit more like a stock. Yeah, like a stock, like buying a stock. As I understand it, Forex trading is more you're trying to make the difference between, say, the US dollar and the Malaysian ringgit, because there's price movements as well. Yeah, so it's fundamentally different things you're investing in.
Okay, so the next question is, I like this one. Why are there only some cryptocurrencies available on LUNO? Why not more? Are there any plans to add more in the future? Because recently you just added Bitcoin Cash, right?
Yeah. So on LUNO, there are 5 cryptocurrencies: Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, otherwise known as Ripple. Now, the reason why there are only 5 is twofold. Number one, because I think LUNO has always been a pretty conservative company. In terms of you'll notice that we don't have meme coins, we don't have Dogecoin, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I think the reason why it is that way is because we still feel that these kind of assets may be overly high risk for people who are new to the space. So we have traditionally listed only the very, very established kind of coins, yeah, like the ones I mentioned earlier. Now, the second reason is any coins listed in Malaysia needs Securities Commission and Bank Negara approval as well today. So if you try and list a coin like, say, Shiba Inu, I don't think the regulators would be very, very open to it, because I think even for them, crypto is such a new space, right? Even trying to tell them, we're going to start trading Bitcoin, it took a leap of faith by the regulators to allow this. And then you tell them, oh, I'm going to start trading a coin based on a dog, based on a joke. And then most likely they're going to ask you, is this really sustainable? Are we just setting up Malaysian investors for disappointment, for pump and dump? So that is why the regulations are a bit stringent over here. Hopefully this changes as time goes by. Hopefully people get more comfortable, and then hopefully we'll be able to list more tokens.
Okay, so it's more of a preserving the security of the users, the software users, right? The app users.
Yeah, I would say investor protection. But again, this is a work in progress. I do think personally that we do need to add more coins, but hopefully it'll be well-established coins.
Yeah, I am looking forward to, I don't know, maybe Dogecoin and Shiba Inu being available on LUNO. All right. The final question from my list is that I like this one. Will Ethereum ever surpass Bitcoin?
That's a very, very interesting question. And I think it is very interesting because Bitcoin and Ethereum are almost very, very different kind of coins, because Bitcoin is meant to be a store of value or a means of transaction. When I say a store of value, means of transaction, meaning it is meant for you to store your wealth and then hopefully pass it on to your next generation. That seems to be Bitcoin's primary purpose today. Now, Ethereum Ethereum is very interesting because you can build a lot of programming on top of Ethereum. You can build apps on top of Ethereum. So you can build all kinds of funny apps, right? For example, you can build games on Ethereum. You can build art on Ethereum. You can build finance functions like lending and borrowing on Ethereum. So if you look in terms of the Ethereum use cases, I would say that Ethereum use cases are huge, right? They're huge. You can literally build anything on Ethereum. So some might say that because the use case of Ethereum is going to be so wide, eventually one day Ethereum will be worth more than Bitcoin. Now, on the other hand, Bitcoin, people wanting to store their value, Bitcoin being a bit like digital gold, I feel it has an appeal which is not easily it cannot be easily copied by any other cryptocurrency. So there's this whole pros and cons of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Again, I hate to take this easy way out, but I have no idea whether Ethereum will overtake Bitcoin one day. What I will say is, if you're interested, do read up the technology and you can easily own both. So yeah, give it a try.
All right, thank you for that. Okay, so we have one last question from the chat box. Okay, so everyone, if you have any more questions, you can open your mic and or maybe you can put it into the chat box. I will read it out. Okay, so we only have one question in the chat box as of now. Okay, so the question goes, if I were to invest in crypto, Ethereum, Bitcoin, or Ripple, how should my portfolio look like?
So going into portfolio specifics is hard because I don't know your unique circumstances, and actually to advise kind of portfolio management, it needs someone who you call like a licensed financial planner, etc. Right? But with that being said, if I were new to crypto, I would start with Bitcoin, and then maybe after that I will add a small portion of Ethereum. So some people, not me, some people in the crypto space have suggested like, 75% Bitcoin, 25% Ethereum. But again, that's just a start. You can start with that and then you can go on and build your own portfolio after that. That's completely up to you.
So it's more like, okay, you start off with one. So because there's this whole narrative of investing in crypto is like, don't put your eggs into one basket. But then when you want to start it, you start it with one, focus it, and then when you make gains from it, you start to diversify your portfolio, right? Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't say when you make gains from it. I would say when you learn the technology and you're comfortable to invest more, then you can consider adding other coins. I will say that there are 6,000 coins in the crypto space, but if I'm not wrong, most of them are very, very highly correlated with Bitcoin, right? So if Bitcoin goes up, all these guys are going up as well. Bitcoin goes down, all these guys are going down as well. So if you're talking about diversifying across a set of crypto, to me, that doesn't really bring so much value, because you would be able to get the same effect if you just buy Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? Instead of buying 20 random coins.
Okay, so we have a follow-up question here. The question asks if the LUNO app will ever have a robo-advisor.
That may happen one day, but we don't have any immediate plans. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so so this is a question for me. Like, I sometimes look at the charts in LUNO through the website, and I also sometimes look at the charts in TradingView. And what I've noticed is that the value sometimes does not tally. And why is that so?
So when you look at the price of crypto on LUNO, that is literally the price of crypto in ringgit versus Bitcoin on the LUNO exchange. And when I say the LUNO exchange, it literally means the people in Malaysia who are trading on LUNO. Yeah. Now, when you look at the price on TradingView, I don't know which feed they take it from, but that might actually be like a sort of average of crypto prices across a couple of exchanges. Maybe they take an average of 5 exchanges, or maybe they take the crypto price from Coinbase, which is in USD Bitcoin, and then they times the exchange rate of 4.2, and then they give you a chart. Now, just to be clear, when you trade on LUNO, you're literally trading in a closed market with other LUNO customers only. So that's why the price difference is going to be slightly different on LUNO versus, say, you go to Binance or Coinbase. It's very similar to the concept of, let's say you buy apples in the market in KL, Kuala Lumpur, and you buy apples in a market in, say, PJ, which is a different marketplace. Now, the price may be similar, but it's never going to be exactly the same because there are slight differences in the market.
Okay. So, all right. So again, another question about TradingView. Okay, so on the platform of TradingView itself, they actually made it easier for investors to decide whether to sell or buy, because they have this indicator meter on the bottom of their tab, showing that if you should strongly sell, or buy, or strongly buy. So will ever LUNO have that type of feature as well?
I doubt so, because the reason why we are regulated in Malaysia, the SC, the regulators, want to make it so that we are fair and basically neutral. So when we operate an exchange, it means we're neutral. We actually don't get to tell people, is it a good time to buy or a good time to sell, because that means we can actually influence their behavior. So the SC's whole purpose of regulating a company like us is to just give a platform that is neutral and that is fair, and people have to make their own decisions whether it's buy or sell time.
Okay, so insinuating the whole free market narrative there.
Yeah, because if we are allowed to tell people, oh, now's a good time to buy, we would be sort of influencing where the market is going, and that's not a fair market.
Okay, all right. So thank you on that. So I think that's all. All right. So before we end the session and we give the e-certificate link and QR code to participants, I think we can have a short photography session. So yeah. Okay. So I hope that all the participants can open their cams and show their happy faces so that we can take a photo.
3, 2, 1. Again, 3, 2, 1. Okay, done. Thank you so much.
All right. So thank you, Aaron, for that very insightful talk on crypto. I think I know a lot more now about crypto, so I think I better maybe ramp up my portfolio, or do a little bit of tweaks, because I just realized that I made a few mistakes there. All right. So okay. So to all the participants, I have a short announcement. Okay. So as this semester has just opened, and we are also coming up with the new semester in September, we are currently open for new members to join us. And here are the benefits of joining a club, one of which is for you to be able to gain e-certificates to join the events, and also receive extra points on membership verifications. And also expand your network. Like, you've met Aaron Tang, he's literally the country manager for LUNO. Okay, so now the membership fee for our club is 10 ringgit per year. And yeah, it comes with all the benefits that I showed you just now. And for those who are interested, you can scan the QR code here, or you can click on the link that has been provided in the chat box. Okay, so I'll just give a few seconds for the participants to scan. Invite on LinkedIn. Okay.
So is this how I get my iPoints?
Sorry?
Is this how to get iPoints?
Okay. The QR code will be provided shortly. Okay, so I can.
Thank you.
All right. So before that, to make sure to follow our Instagram to keep up to date with all the events that we have. And yeah, you can scan this QR code to claim your e-certificate, and you can click on the link that will be provided in already provided in the chat box. All right. So once again, thank you so much, Aaron Tang, for spending your weekend with us for 1 hour talking about crypto. So I hope all the participants have gained a little bit of knowledge on how crypto works. And if you want to start trading in LUNO, then yeah, go ahead. I highly suggest it. Like, the market is going up right now. Just today I've made 50 ringgit doing nothing. Oh yeah, and also thank you to our club advisor Ashwin to join us today as well.
Thanks, guys. All the best.
All right. Thank you, Aaron. See you in
Thank you, everyone. Have a good weekend.
All right. So thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Is Aaron and Ashwin still in the? No.
No.
Okay. Oh my God.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you for joining us.